Good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I'm all right. So I'm not going to wait for others. We are going to begin because we have so much to cover, and this is supposed to be our last class. So I'm just going to explain more about if statements. Then after that, we are going to look at data validation. When we're done looking at data validation, we are going to look at data visualization. And then we'll be done with this course so that we can prepare for the assessments which we need to do in order for us to get our certificates. Is that okay?
Yes, but I needed the coding for the previous lesson.
Um,
I missed out.
the previous lesson was on, we ended on the if statement where we came up with the pass and fail. You were not there. I think you were there. The class that was supposed to take place, no one showed up. So I didn't even record it because I didn't want to just send the recording, so I didn't send it. I didn't record it. So, like, this is the next class after the class we had where we started looking at if functions.
All right.
Yeah. So, I'm just going to begin. Last time we ended on if statements where we came up with this formula where we were finding the comments for each student depending on whether they got above 50 or below 50. Okay, so we were using this condition: E3 is greater than or equal to 50. Okay, or E3 is the total marks. So we're using the total marks to determine whether the student passed or failed. And we said that for every student who got above 50 in the total mark, it means that they passed the test, and if they got below 50, it means that they failed the test. So this is the condition that we were using. Okay, just so that I make the if statement so clear, we are going to do another one. Okay, but we are going to use the same condition, but we are just going to change what we want Excel to give us. Okay, we're going to change, instead of pass and fail, maybe we should get a grade this time around. Okay, so I'm just going to type to add another column here, and I'm going to call it grade. Like that. Okay, let me just create borders for it so that it doesn't look different. Okay, so we have added a column called grade, and I want us to find the grades for these students, whether they got an A or they got a B. Okay, so we are still going to use the if statement. Okay, so if a student got 50, if a student got 50 and above, then we should say it means they got an A. Okay, and if a student got 50 and below, it means that they got a B. Okay, so we are going to have those two grades for now, since we are not working with a lot of data. We only have like four numbers here for the total marks, and then we can only say we have two categories. We have those who are below 50 and those who are above 50. We don't have a number of people maybe who got 70, 60. We only have this range, so we can't really give it a lot. Okay, so we are just going to say for everyone who got above 50, it should be an A, and for everyone who got below 50, it should be a B. And we are still using the total marks, and since we are still using the total mark, our range of cells is going to be from E3 to E6. Okay, so we are going to use E3. We are going to find we are going to do the formula for the first student. We're going to find the grade that they got. When we are done, we are going to autofill the formula to the rest of the student. Okay, so we make G3 active because that is where our answer will go. We make G3 active because it is where our answer will go. When we make it active, we go to what? To formulas. We click on formulas and then we click on insert function. And then we choose the if function. It's right there. Then we click what? OK. Okay. When we click OK, we are going to have function arguments, which is saying if our logical test is what? If E3, okay, we select E3, then we write greater than, so yeah, E3, let me just, yeah, E3 greater than or equal to 50. We said 50, huh? So we have E3 greater than or equal to 50. That is our logical test. Okay? Our logical test is the condition that we want to test. Like I mentioned, okay? The condition that we want to test, E3 greater than or equal to 50. Okay? And then our value, if true, we say that this time around, if the value is true, we want to get what? We want to get an A. Yeah. So I'm just going to put A here. And if our value is false, we are getting a what? A B. So I'm just going to type a B there. Okay. And then I'm going to click OK. And we have an A there. Why do we have an A? Because this particular student got a 90, and we said that for every student who got above 50, it's an A. So let's drag down the formula so that we see the results for the other students. So we can now tell that this student got 40 and this other student got 35, and so they have B and then they have A's right there. Okay, so this is how you use if functions. I hope it's clear now.
Yes, madam.
Okay, great. There's another if function for nested if functions where you have more than one condition. Okay, where you have more than one condition, so much that you're going to have maybe, for the best example I can give is if you have test results, you know how the grading system works, The grading system is not going to give you a provision of maybe a grade which is an A or a B, just the two letters. No, you're going to have an A, you're going to have a B plus, an A plus, a C plus, a C. So if you want to come up with a formula that is going to give you all those conditions, you need to come up with a what? You are going to use an if function, but you are going to use a nested if function where one function it has a lot of functions inside. So you're going to have a lot of these functions. If you're going to write if here, E3 is greater than or equal to 50, it should give us an A. Then you're going to say if again, okay, E3 and E3 is greater than or equal to 50, it should give us a B. Okay, so you're going to have 50, and maybe you're going to have 60 to 65, and then maybe you're going to have 80 to 90, and then you're going to create a condition for all those. When you create a condition for each one of them, and then you close your formula, and then you run it, and then you'll be able to get the marks for all you'll be able to get the grades for all the students, the same way that we managed to get all the grades for these students. Okay, so you can explore that one on your own. We're not going to look at it, but you should know that it's an if function. If you know how an if function works, like I have explained here, you shouldn't have any problems working with a nested if function. Okay, if there are no more questions.
So, madam, if I want to come up with the formula that will give me maybe from A plus to D. How do I have to like to put like if equals if, then maybe if it is E3 to E3 maybe to what's this to 50 to what's this to 50, E3 greater or equal to 200, I don't know.
Perhaps maybe we should do it.
Will it be able to give me what I've just mentioned?
Yes, it's going to give you everything that you've mentioned. Let me just do one example so that you can see how it works. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so that you can see. I see. Let me just find the perfect example that I can use. Okay. All right. Okay, just give me a moment. My computer is taking a lot of time to load, but I'm almost there. All right, so we shall continue now. I said we are going to do an example of a nested if function. Okay, so have you seen the way this if function is? Okay, so I'm just going to remove this bracket that's at the end. Are you able to see the brackets that's at the end? So I'm just going to remove it so that we can continue this if statement. Okay, so we are going to create, let's try to create a condition for each of these grades so that we can at least get 4 grades. Okay, we are going to say for any student who got greater than or equal to 40, okay, they should, we're going to start with 35. For any student who got greater than or equal to 35, they should get a C, maybe a C, okay, maybe a D, yeah, that's a fail. So we're going to say a D. And then for a student for this student who got a 40, it should be a C. For this student who got a 90, it should be a B. And then for this student who got a 95, it should be what? It should be an A. Okay, so we are going to change this first. We remember we are still using the column for total, huh? So since we are using the total for column, E3 doesn't change. E3 is still the column for total. And E3, this is where the first student is, the 3. E is the column we're working with, and 3, that's where the grade for the student we are working with is. Okay, so let's just add, let me just copy this one here so that we can yeah, in fact we can use the same cell where there's grade, huh? So where there's grade, we are just going to edit this function, and then we are going to overwrite the whole formula that's in there. Then we are going to get what we want. So what you should focus on right now is look at the formula bar as I am working, huh? You should be looking at the formula bar. So this particular nested if function, usually it's manually written. As long as you understand how the if function works, you manually write it. Okay, except I didn't want to start from scratch, so maybe anyway, let me just start from scratch. Okay, we are going to start with an equal sign, and I'm going to delete everything that's here. Okay, I'm going to delete everything that's in this cell. Maybe I should also delete what's here. Okay, and I should also delete what's here. Okay, let me just delete everything and in here so that we can start from scratch. Okay, so I've deleted everything. Now we are going to write our formula on the formula bar. So remember I said that if you want to write a formula, you always start with what? An equal sign. That is not an equal sign. This is an equal sign. Okay, equal sign, and then we write if which is the function that we want to use. We are going to write if, okay, if, and then we're going to open our brackets, okay. Oh, just one bracket for now. I'm going to delete the other one. If we said E3, remember it's the column with the total, and E3, this is where the results for the first student, the total results for the first student are. So we're going to say E3 is greater than or equal to greater than or equal to 90. So if E3 is greater than or equal to 90, the first one is going to be 90. You should 95. I mean, the highest grade is 95, comma. Okay. Then we are going to put quotation marks, and we are going to put an A inside the what? The quotation marks. And this is what we want to get, right? And then I'm going to put an A. I'm going to put a comma again. Then I'm going to say if, again, and then I'm going to open the bracket again, like that. I'm going to say if E3, we are going to, you should notice something here, we'll still be using E3, okay? Because this formula we are going to distribute it to, we are going to autofill it. So it's okay to use E3 throughout, okay? So as you move the formula downwards, Excel will be changing where there's E3 on its own. It will be putting E4, E5, E6, you know? So no wonder it's okay to use E3. Do you understand that? Yes, so we are going to do a second condition. Our second condition is going to be E3, okay, greater than or equal to 90 this time around, okay. We put a comma, and in our quotation marks, we are going to put a what? A B. A B like that. Then I'm going to put another comma. Remember, we have to come up with 4 conditions. Then I'm going to say if again. Then I'm going to open the brackets again. And like I said, we are still using E3 greater than or equal to what? This time around we are using our next number is what? 40. 40. It should give us a what? A C. So we put the quotation marks. This is basically the syntax. The commas that I'm putting, the quotation marks that I'm putting, it is the syntax. This is what Excel is able to, this is how this function is made. So these commas and these quotation marks, you have to put them in order for Excel to understand. Okay. So 40, we said it's going to be C, right? So we'll put another comma here. And then our last condition, if we open the brackets again, like that, if E3, okay, greater than or equal to what? This time around we are using what? 35. Okay. And it should give us, we put a comma, and it should give us a what? a D, right? A D. This marks the end of our if statement, but we are not done because we haven't closed these brackets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 brackets. So we have to close all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the number of brackets which is going to be at the end here depends on the number of if statements that you have. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we are going to put 4 closing brackets at the end. Okay? So I'm just going to add 1, 2, 3, and 4. Have you noticed that? Okay? So I should also be quick to mention that if we had more numbers, for instance, if we had some numbers if we had more students who got between 95 and 90, in fact 91 to 95, they were all going to fall under what? Under 90. And then if we had students who got 95 to 100, they were all going to get an A. So this is a range. This is also a range. This is also a range. So if there were students who got between 40 and 90, they were all going to fall under what? Under C. They were all going to get C's. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. And then if we had more students who got between 35 and 40, they were all going to get D's. Okay? And then if we had more students, if we had a number of students who got between below 35, maybe from 0 to 35, we were going to put another condition that was going to accommodate them, and we were going to get the grade for them also. So basically these represent what? A range, except we don't have a lot of data here. So you might think it's just referring to one number. It's not referring to one number. Okay? So let's try to run it and see if it will work. So I'm just going to click enter, and I have a B for this particular student, Mary Mwanza. So I'm just going to drag down the formula and let's see what I get. You notice what happens?
Yes.
So we have A, we have C, we have D, and we have B. Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions?
That's clear.
Okay, great. I'm going to share the recording. You can go through on your own so that in case there's somewhere where you are behind, you can catch up. So now we are going to move on, and we are going to look at data validation, and then the last thing we'll look at is data visualization. Data validation is basically making sure that your data is valid. Okay? Making sure that there are no errors. Not really making sure that there are no errors. You put measures in place that is going to prevent the errors from occurring as you enter your data. Remember, Microsoft Excel is a data analysis tool, right? We know that we can enter data and analyze it using Microsoft Excel. So it has special tools which are used to validate the data, okay? To protect it and also to make sure that there are no errors in that data. So that's basically what we are going to look at, okay? So in order for you to validate the data, you have to, there are tools which are under they are under review. Is it the home tab? No, not condition formatting. We are basically looking at data. So we are going to use data. We will click on the tab called data. Okay? You click on the tab called data if you want to validate the data. Remember, you do this before you start entering your data to make sure that your data is going to be accurate, okay? And it's not going to have any errors, and you're not, you just avoid certain mistakes that might happen as you enter your data, especially if you're dealing with numbers. Numbers, it's so easy to, you are trying to type 8 and by mistake you type a 3. You are trying to type a 0, by mistake you type an 8, So to avoid such kind of errors, you come up with what? You validate your data in order for you to avoid such errors. So we are basically going to look at this tool here, which is under data tools, and it's called what? Data validation. Able to see it? Okay, I'll assume you're able to see it. So, if you want to use it, for instance, if you want to validate this cell, you want to make sure that the data that will be entered in this cell, it's going to be valid, or maybe not just a cell. Let's say maybe this whole column, this whole range of cells. Maybe let's like this whole range of cells. You want to make sure that the data is valid. You can come here and create a what? You create some settings which are going to make sure that everything that you're going to enter here is going to be valid. Okay, so you click on data validation, and then you're going to find, are you able to see the dialog box which has popped up? I'm guessing you're unable to see it. How am I going to do this?
This one.
You're able to see it on your end?
Yes. Where we are on H. What is active is H, right?
H is active. And then we have clicked on data validation, right? Yes. And then a dialog box has popped up for data validation, where there's settings, input message, and error alert. Are you able to see it on your? Are you following using your computer?
No, I'm using my phone.
You're using your phone. Okay.
Yeah. Let me check. Okay, let me do this.
You have your computer nearby? Yeah, please. Just do what I've done, and then you should be able to see the dialog box. I don't know why they don't show on the screen when I'm sharing. Some of the dialog boxes, they don't show.
So data validation.
And then choose let me just cancel this. Data validation, and then choose data validation. There's data validation, there's circle invalid data, there's clear validation circles. Click on data validation.
My laptop, I don't know. Let me check. Let me go back. It's like there's just I only have signs here. It's not as it is on your laptop. Okay. So I've gone, but there's this sign. So there's data validation, there's circle invalid data, there's clear validation circles. Which one? I go on
data validation. Yes. Data validation. Yes.
Hello?
Data validation.
Yes. So now settings.
Under settings, this is where you set a criteria for your validation. Okay. For instance, if you only want to add a certain range of numbers in this cell which we have made active, you have to indicate here what kind of numbers do you want to add. Where there's any value, click the drop down arrow. You're going to see a lot of values which are there. There's any value, there's whole numbers, there's decimals, there's list, there's date, there's time, there's text length, and also custom. So let's choose whole numbers. Click on whole numbers.
Just a minute. So, let's see it. I don't know what is happening with this. So, madam.
Yes, please.
I found where on the setting there is any value, phone number, decimal list.
I want you to put whole number. Click on whole number.
Okay.
And then from there we move on, we go where there's data, where there's between, right?
Yes.
So you click on the drop down arrow. Then we are basically trying to say what kind of whole numbers do we want to add in this one. Is it everything that's maybe between a certain range that is equal to a certain number, or not equal to something that is greater than, or something that is less than a certain number? So let's say we want to add numbers which are greater than a certain number. Okay? Maybe it's age. We have this age range. So maybe we did a research and we targeted people who are between 10 to 20 years old. So we could say, no, not 10. Maybe we want people from 5 years to 9 years old. I don't know how they would answer that question here, but yeah, let's say that is our target group. So we don't want to have errors where we are going to have other numbers. So we want to say in this particular cell we should add only numbers which are greater than 5. You know? Yeah. So in order to make sure that all the numbers which will be entered here will be greater than 5, we are going to click on greater than 5. And then minimum, the 5, we are going to write it under minimum. I mean, we'll put greater than, and then under minimum, that's where we write the 5.
5.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just write it there. And then before we close this, we go on input message. After settings, there's input message. Okay? So this is basically.
After you say okay?
Yeah, no, before you say okay.
You go to input message.
Yes.
Okay.
So when you go to input message, you're going to see a box which is saying show input message when cell is selected. You can choose whether you want when someone clicks on the cell, they see a message that's giving them instructions, or there's just nothing. Okay? So when a cell is selected, show this input message. So we can put a title to the input message. We can say it's maybe it's a note. Maybe we can say, maybe if we want to tell them that note that. So we're just going to say note. Okay? Under title.
Okay.
Under title, we're going to just write note under title. And then under input message, we can say enter whole numbers, right?
Input message, we say enter whole numbers.
Yes. So that will guide, in case you're not the one who is going to, maybe you leave someone to do it, enter. Yeah, so that maybe even yourself you are able to remember. In case you forget, this the validation that you added, okay, the input message really helps. So enter whole numbers. Then the next one we are going to look at is the error alert. If someone does not enter a whole number, what should happen? You understand? So this is what we want to set up. Do you want it to be a stop? Do you want it to be the message that will pop up? Should it be a warning or should it be information? I think it should be a warning, so that someone is able to see that what they are doing is wrong. And then the title of this warning could be what could be the title of this warning? Maybe we could say please. The title, let's just say please should be the title. So we are going to type yes. So we are going to type please. Okay. And then under error message, we are going to say please. And then we're going to say whole number greater than 5, right?
Is whole number greater than 5.
Yeah, something like that. So my point is, it could be any message that you're going to give, that you're going to ask Excel to give when someone enters a wrong number, right? Yeah, so that's the idea. You can put any message that you want. So, but we're just going to use this one, whole number less than like that. So we have whole number less than 5.
Less than or greater than?
Oh, it's actually greater than, It's greater than. So let's put greater than, yeah. It's greater than. And then when you finish, you click OK. Okay. When you click OK, you notice that the message is automatically there. Not enter whole number, enter whole numbers, right? This was the message which we added. So when I click the first cell, let's say I enter a 2. Let me enter just any number that's less than 5, even a 3. And then I try to move to another cell. You notice a warning pops up, and then it says whole numbers greater than 5. This was the message that we wrote, that we said it should bring, right?
Yes.
So this is basically how you validate your data. Okay. You can add whatever conditions that you want to apply. You go under data and then you go under data validation, and you will be able to validate your data and just make sure that certain errors which have to do with numbers, they are avoided. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So this is clear. We are going to move on now. The last part we are going to look at basically visualization, adding charts, basically adding charts. Okay. If you want to visualize the math results, how do you do it? This is very easy in Excel, right? We know that if you want to visualize mathematics, we are just going to highlight it. Okay. When you highlight it, you go on insert. When you go on insert under charts, you choose which chart do I want to use. Do I want to use a pie chart? Do I want to use a column chart? Or do I want to use a bar chart? Let's try to use column for the a pie chart for the first one. Okay. When I click on pie chart, I'm going to be presented with options of which chart do I want to use. Do I want to use a donut? Do I want to use a 3D? Or do I want to use a 2D? I think 3D looks nice. Let's say I want to use a 3D. Okay. I'm just going to move it here so that it does not affect my data. Are you able to see it though? Let me just move it back like that. Huh? You're able to see it? Huh?
Yes. But I don't know. I didn't see how you where you went.
Okay, I'm going to undo.
Yes.
I'm going to undo. Then I'm going to start afresh. I said you highlight the part that you want to create a chart for, right? And then you go under insert.
Okay.
Under insert, you go under charts here. And then you choose pie charts. Then you choose which one do you want to use, 3D, 2D, or a donut. Okay. For now, we are going to use a donut. We are going to use a 3D pie chart, and this is the one that's here. You can move it so that it does not cover your data. Okay. So I'm just gonna move it. I'm going to drag it a little bit here. Still covers my data. Okay. I'm just gonna move it here. Oh, sorry. Like that, like this, huh? So this is the chart that we have created. And then when you okay, great. If you want to make some changes to this chart, you can click on this plus sign which is here. Okay. When you click on the plus sign, it's going to give you options. When you click on each of these options, you will be able to preview what you want to get out of that chart basically. Yeah? You'll be able to preview. So I'm just gonna click on it, and then there's chart title. Do I want the chart title to be there? Yes, I want it to be there. Do I want data labels? If I want data labels, I click.
You know what happened with mine, madam?
Yes.
Chat, see now, like it's just what's this? These numbers are there, but the actual chart is not there.
Oh. What version of Microsoft package are you using?
Isn't it? I can't even remember now.
Oh, okay. I think it's
installed.
I think it has to do with the application. But basically, this is what is supposed to happen. Let's try to use another one. Let's try to use a bar chart and see.
I don't have an idea what it is. I think, but it should be. It should be changing. It hasn't come like these numbers that you are seeing. The actual picture of the chart is not there.
But the numbers which are down here with colors, they're there.
Yes.
Wow. I think there's something wrong with your version of Excel. But in order for us to be sure, let's try to just drag that one at the corner, and then let's try to create another chart for English. This time around, we should use a column chart so that we see what's wrong. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think maybe it's my laptop, which is something else.
No, it's not your laptop. It's your Microsoft Excel.
It's not my personal laptop. It's for my workplace.
Oh.
So there are these things that are regulated.
Oh yeah, I understand. Okay, let's try to do a bar chart. So highlight English, and then go back to insert.
Okay.
This time around, choose a column chart. Under column chart, under column chart, we can choose just a 2D should be okay. The first one. Under 2D, you click on it. Let's see if it pops up.
There's nothing.
Wow. But you're able to see my screen, huh?
Yes. They're just numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And lines. The actual drawings, they are not there.
Wow.
It's only that my personal laptop, I need to update it. I haven't used it for some time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But basically, when you manage this, basically it's what's supposed to happen. Like simply putting it simply, it's this easy. You're going to be presented with a chart. Then you can edit it. You can click on this.
I think.
Yes.
It's something that I think it's easy.
Yeah. It's easy when you
I followed it. Nice.
Yeah. So you can just click when you click on the plus sign, you're going to choose what you want to add and what you want to remove. You notice, huh? Okay. Chart title, yes. Data labels. When you click on data labels, you'll be able to see the labels on top of those bars, right? And then when I move it to data table, you notice that the way that my chart looks changes, and then there's also error bars. If there are some errors that you would need to, you can click that. And if you also want to add, trend lines, you're able to see all those. So basically that is how you do it. If you don't want the axis, you just click here and you will not be able to see it anymore. If you want it back, you click there. Okay?
Yeah.
And then if you want to change how your chart looks, you can come here and look at these chart styles, right? You notice what's happening. This one is faint. This one a little bit bold. Then we also have this one. It has lines. Then we also have plenty of them. So you can try them out and see which one do you want. Okay? If you want to change colors, you come here. Try out some colors. Okay? Let me just like that. Why are the colors taking time? Okay, like this, yeah. So this is how you come up with charts in Excel. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I think it's been a very good class this night tonight, no?
Okay.
I got it. I've enjoyed.
Okay, that's nice. It's really good, especially that it's our last class. Yeah.
This one was, I think I really concentrated. It was okay.
Okay, that's nice.
Sure.
Okay, we end here. It's 21:01. We've exceeded the time. We are going to end here.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to share the recording and then we can prepare for the assessment. I'm going to share the assessment according to the timetable. We have to do an assessment. So yeah, we should just prepare.
Okay.
All right, good night.
Night.